That's the only thing I can do, guys. I'm sorry about that. My name is Shachar Bar-Geffen. I'm coming from Tel Aviv, Israel, like a lot of my great friends here. Today I'm going to present the Trust Chain Protocol, a system that we have developed, in a sense, a new blockchain. And we came up with the vision that we want to allow people to exchange value over the internet all around the world as easy as it is to exchange information. Because as it stands, it is not free to change value over the internet, as everybody, I hope, knows. When you look at, if you try to send money around the world, that will cost you a small fortune, and it will take a lot of time. And if you try to pay for something online, the merchant will pay anywhere between 3 to 15% for fees. Multi-currencies will be difficult. Decline rate will be high, and that locks out about 2 billion people around the world outside of the financial system with no access to credit cards and no way to pay for things online. And the reason for that is that this world is ruled by Visa and MasterCard. It's one of the oldest and strongest duopolies ever to exist, and they haven't innovated payments for the last 40 years. Look at your phone, look at your watch, look at your laptop, the cars outside. Now look at your credit card. That hasn't changed at all. It's still just a plastic thing with a magnetic field on it. Why? Because nothing has challenged that. And we wanted to challenge that, and we thought that cryptocurrencies would probably be the best possible way to create currency, a way to pay for things online all around that is free and immediate. But as we started building our application, we've realized that it's not going to cut it. The current infrastructure can't support global payments on mass adoption scales. Reason, one is scalability. We're all aware of scalability issues, right? It is either energy consumption is too high or it's just too slow. Volatile price. Why would a merchant want to take a currency that can go down 20% the next day? Lack of protection. Think about it. If you're paying with your credit card for something and product is not delivered, you can just charge it back. If you're doing it on PayPal, you can just open a dispute. What happens when you pay with a cryptocurrency and merchant does not deliver? We're fucked, right? In a sense, we call it a trustless system, but it's only trustless because you don't need a third party to tell you that you have the balance to pay and someone got paid. But you actually need to trust the other party much more when it comes to paying with cryptocurrencies because it is irreversible. So we thought this is another thing we need to fix. And last thing is regulation and compliance. Yes, anonymity is amazing, but no global payment system that will be massively adopted will be anonymous because this is just not how this world works, right? So we need to find something that can comply with regulations wherever they are in the world. And we set to our mission, and we realized that we're going to need to create new infrastructure, and we have created the Trust Chain. Now this is a mathematical model of our protocol going live. It's actually 361 mathematical models combined into this. And this is DAG, Direct Acyclic Graph. I suppose a lot of you are familiar with that. IOTA, hash graph are using the same thing, but we've developed a new consensus mechanism on top of it called the trust chains. So essentially when transactions are added to the cluster, this is how we call that, they validate two previous transactions and they in their turn validate transactions, and when enough trust is accumulated on the chains, they are confirmed. So this, my friends, can go 10,000 transactions per second. And another thing about it is that there's very little proof of work needed here, only to prevent Sybil attacks, right? So only when a tip is added, there's little proof of work needed. So this does not consume energy, right? You know, Bitcoin right now consumes energy pretty much like New Zealand does. So what happens if that grows and scales? Impossible. So this has no mining, it does not consume too much energy, and it is very scalable. So it combines three things. One is scalability. Again, 10,000 transactions per second. The second is ranking. We rank entities in this network and give them score, and this is part of how we create consensus. I can't go into too much details right now as I have 5 minutes, but please look at the white paper at our website. It is also translated to Japanese, Korean, whatever your kick is, you can read it in that language. To that, we've added an arbitration system. So how do we solve the fact that cryptocurrencies are irreversible? What happens if I pay and a product is not delivered? Well, we have mediators, users of the network with high trust score that have undergone some screening. And when we open a dispute, they vote. They vote if I'm right or if the merchant is right, for instance. But voting is not enough, because why should they care, right? They can just vote, or maybe they try to fraud the system. What gives them the incentive? So when they vote, they actually stake tokens on their vote. And a pool is created. And when the voting process is done and someone wins, so the mediators that have voted with that side actually collect all tokens and divide them among themselves. So this is how we decentrally solve disputes, and this is how we incentivize users. And of course, it's much better than not having any system at all, like it is with cryptocurrencies, but it can actually be better with traditional systems like Visa, because over time, you'll have better people passing better judgments, because those who are not as good at that actually lose tokens and get out of the system. We have searched for coal on the mine, but have actually struck with gold, because we have realized that what we have developed can go far more than payments. This protocol can actually be used with other financial services, like insurance or loans. It can help IoT, right? We think we can do IOTA better than IOTA, actually. It can go to file storage that needs high throughput and permissions. And it can help logistics as well, but there are other use cases, and other companies are actually right now developing over our protocol their products. So the first product that we are pushing, because creating an ecosystem, and look, the greatest thing about Ethereum is the ecosystem, right? And we thought that we can't just put a protocol out there and then you put it in the wild, you build it, people come, they'll develop. We wanted to have more control of our destiny. So we created the protocol, and we are actually pushing and creating the first use case, which is COTI Pay. This is a full ecosystem consisted of a coin, a wallet, an exchange, and a debit card that will be launched this August to allow global payments to take place with zero fees for merchants, instant settlement, and high scalability. And if you compare that to other cryptocurrencies that may be used for payments, I think you'll find that ours is optimized for payments. We already have early adoption for that. About 3,000 merchants have signed in to use our beta stage. That happened in less than 4 days. 80,000 consumers and 1,000 mediators all have opted in to use COTI as their preferred cryptocurrency. Team. I won't talk about myself. My CTO, Dr. Nir Alwani, PhD in math from Israel's highest institute of technology. This guy has actually invented compression algorithm for JPEG and sold it to IBM. So whenever you send an email, make sure you thank him. 14 patents in AI. He's created a very, very, very strong team of Israeli researchers and R&D. We have 15 people working full-time on R&D, and another 15 people working on the business aspects of everything around that. John and Tamar are here. You can say hi. Yeah, that was John. Click. Top advisors for the product. In this room with us is Mr. Stephen Hailborn. In his last role, he was former CEO of Investec Bank, one of the largest banks in London. So he's here if you want to say hi. Dr. Matt McBrady, who is the Chief Investment Officer for BlackRock. Lindsay runs VC in Silicon Valley, also invested in COTI and joined us. Greg Kidd of Ripple, the CRO of Ripple, co-founder of Twitter actually, and one of the first investors in Coinbase is with us. Nimrod Lehavi, if you met him, he's an amazing guy for Simplex, and Avi from Processing.com. We have signed a partnership with Processing.com that gives us access to 10,000 merchants on day one with a click of a button, and that can, scale our product very fast. He is also invested in COTI and joined. We are being advised by Nakamoto, the Hexa Groups, the Wings Foundation, the amazing Stas that is here, TLDR, Ernst & Young, and so on and so forth. Last slide. The things we are proud of, and with this slide I'm ending. We already have strong backing. We have a product that will be launched in about 2 months' time, so that's right around the corner. We have applied for a DLT license from Gibraltar, where we are incorporated, so we will have a full compliance and full legality of our operation. 80,000 people following us, about 40,000 in Telegram, strong partnerships in play, and the first adoption for our protocol already in place. I have no time for questions, so I'm hoping you're all happy with it. I'll be available Shachaf at COTI, and since I have a goofy Hebrew name, I can claim anything, Skype, Telegram, WeChat, it's all the same, Shachaf BG. So feel free to contact me and I'll be in the back of the room now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.